Hey, my name is Matt, and I'm going to be talking about my week-long experience on the Celebrity Apex cruise. This video is going to be a mix of a review and a vlog, and some footage may switch between my phone and my camera because I just didn't have the heart to bring my camera to some stuff, but let's get on to day one. So we landed in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for our cruise the night before and got ready to board onto the ship. The boarding process was super easy, and we finally got to our staterooms, and here's my opinion on that. My hair is a mess, but I'm going to be talking about the rooms because they're doing pretty good. So we stayed in a suite. We stayed in room 11155, and we have one king bed and then one pull-out, and it's been pretty good. It's not too uncomfortable. It's been pretty easy in and out, and it's just kind of a home base because you really don't find yourself a lot in the room. This lip is deadly. If you step on that, there's no way I can convince how stupid. Casually editing with the freaking C to my right. This is the shit. Just a few observations about the trip. It's certainly not the youngest demographic. I was one of the youngest people on the cruise, no doubt. I don't think we saw a single kid, and which was nice in terms of how quiet the ship was, but also yeah, the nights are kind of dead. Yeah, the cruise was basically a ghost town past 10 p.m. But first impressions, the ship was pretty good. I enjoyed the stateroom. I think that it was really clean and nice, and I had no complaints with that. So let's get into day two. Today was our first port day, and it was in Key West, Florida, and honestly, I could see how a lot of people think the ports only went downhill from here. Key West was amazing. It was a small city just so full of life and charm, and every goddamn corner of one of those roosters, it was just a great, great town.
Pulling you in, that's why I said that you didn't know it was right behind you.
What the hell? We didn't end up doing any excursions on this one. We ended up just kind of walking around and exploring the area, and I would absolutely recommend doing the same. Grab yourself a pie, go to a restaurant, and check out the most southern town of the US. Amazing time. Day three. Now, day three was just a sea day, but I want to talk about the food because it was interesting. Now, I've been on cruises in the past, and I kind of know the general experience of eating on cruise ships, but it was so different here because it was so hit or miss. I can say confidently that I had some of my favorite meals ever on this cruise, and some that I could barely finish. The buffet was pretty standard, definitely at its best in the morning. Lunch was just fine. Pizza was really good. It sounds silly, but it's some of the best pizza I've ever goddamn eat. Goddamn, don't miss that. The main dining too was also very hit or miss. Some meals I had were amazing. I loved a lot of the beef meals, stuff like the steak and the Wellington, and a lot of the pastas were great. Soups too. Definitely get the soups. Those smacked. But I found stuff that had fish or was vegetable heavy was kind of disappointing. We also did this thing called Petit Chef. I didn't know about it before going on the cruise, but basically this little projection guy walks on your food and cooks it. And it was actually the best meal I had the entire trip. I recommend that one really. That was really cool. Ended the night seeing this show called Crystallize, one of their productions. I think this was probably the best one we saw the entire week, but the set was super impressive and it was overall a good time. So let's get to day four. Over halfway through the week and we entered our second port, which was Belize. I know what I said about Key West, but I don't care. This was my favorite port. This time we did end up doing an excursion. We ended up doing some snorkeling off of the coast of an island called Cape Cocker. We took this little boat to the island, did some snorkeling for about an hour and a half, although I sucked at it. The guys were super nice, and the excursion itself was a great time. We then headed up to the island itself, Cape Cocker, and it was probably my favorite moment of the trip, funnily enough. As a photographer, you get kind of thrown to a lot of these tourist areas where nothing feels real, and just seeing like a nice Caribbean town that felt super natural was good enough to be my favorite. I love that town. All in all, I loved Belize. This was such a great time. The footage and photos I got were amazing. I just wish we had a bit more time on the island. So overall, I'd recommend doing anything that involves excursions, especially if you hear Cape Cocker, because that island was beautiful. All right, great experience. Day 5 was Cozumel, Mexico, and I have like no footage of this day for some reason, but we went to Paradise Beach for the day. The place was great, good food, beautiful resort, but nothing I would say is groundbreaking in terms of ports. It was just a really, really nice resort. I was so sunburned by this point, oh my lord, but we ended the night seeing the show called Tree of Life, and this was by far the most beautiful set-wise. Like, oh my god, just look at this, it's so freaking cool. But this is where I kind of ran into a pattern, which is the shows are just a little much. I'm not sure how to describe it. It was like the shows never really had a climax. They kind of just remained at the same high the entire time. And it got a little annoying after a few shows, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think this is anything of the fault of the musicians or the performers even. I just think that it was a bit too much for some of the shows and I got a little tired of it, especially in the last show, which I'll talk about at the end. But overall, it was still a really great show and really beautiful set. Great day 5, one more port to go. Yeah, Cayman sucked. This was our final port of the trip, and being honest, we were just really tired. It was 3 days in a row, and seeing this, it was just so fake and tourist. I'm aware it's a cruise ship, but like everything felt cardboard. It was just tourists and shops and everything, and we got so tired of it. I think we ended up getting a drink and then heading back on the ship because at this point we just wanted to be done. And yeah, not much else happened that day. We did end up doing a silent disco, which was amazing. And we led into our last day. Yeah, our last day was mostly spent relaxing and just enjoying the ship's amenities and games and such. I think at this point we were about ready to get off the ship, so we were kind of just enjoying our time to relax and not really do much. We had our final show documentary, which I just couldn't. Okay, the performers are all super talented. If the guitarist is watching this, you are a machine. But this show was alright. It was just too showy and pop oriented, and then they did a cover of Jimi Hendrix. I didn't record because I just stared at Overall, I can't really blame the performers, but I was so tired of the shows by the end of the week. And with that, my week ends with one more night. Overall, I think this ship has its flaws, but overall the experience was amazing. If you want to cruise with reliable ports that's clean and has amazing service, this ship will absolutely give it to you. But don't come in expecting a flawless experience. It's still traveling. After staying a few more days in Florida, we headed back to Toronto, ending this wonderful week-long experience. Can't wait to do it again.